Democratic Senator Michael Bennet is leaning into his close ties with President Biden as Election Day nears. Biden won Colorado, but polls show most Coloradans do not currently approve of the job Biden's doing as president. Today, I sat down with Senator Bennet to talk about Republican criticism that he should be getting more done in Washington, as well as talking about his support for President Biden.
It's easy to shoot your mouth off and say, that's the way it would work.
Democratic Senator Michael Bennet is talking about his opponent, Republican Joe O'Dea, who says that Bennet should hold out to get more for his state the way some centrist Democrats do in the Senate. Priorities like keeping Space Command here after former President Trump ordered it moved to Alabama.
I think politicizing this decision in the wake of what Donald Trump did would be catastrophic for our national security and probably catastrophic for Space Command's chances of staying here in Colorado.
Bennet has been unable to achieve one of his top priorities, permanently expanding the child tax credit. A 6-month experiment during the pandemic cut child poverty by 30%, according to Columbia University researchers.
That's the biggest reduction in childhood poverty ever in the United States of America.
What does it tell you that you got to implement it? People got to see it, and you still can't get it permanently.
Exactly.
What does that tell you?
It tells me that I didn't convince Joe Manchin. One person. And you're right, I didn't convince Joe Manchin. And we have, I believe, a principled disagreement about this.
Bennett's Core Act to protect wilderness lands in Colorado is currently blocked by Republicans. So President Biden came to Colorado this week to unilaterally protect some of those lands through executive order. Former President Trump was far more aggressive in using executive orders to work around congressional stalemates.
Generally speaking, what do you think about that approach?
Generally speaking, I'd rather have a functional government. Generally speaking, I'd rather have...
In lieu of that?
What?
In lieu of a functional government?
No, but I'm saying, we need a functional government. We can't accept the rubble that this generation of American politicians has created,
Bennet is standing by President Biden, even with Biden's approval numbers significantly underwater in Colorado, and questions about whether Biden should run again.
President Biden turns 80 in November. You get more up close and personal time with the president than most Americans do. Do you have any concerns about his physical or mental ability to do the job for another 6 years?
I don't. No, I just spent an hour with him on the way to Camp Hale from the Eagle Airport, and he's obviously going to have to make that judgment himself. But I think, I'm very grateful. As an American, and I honestly, not as a Democrat, as an American, and not as a senator, but as a citizen of Colorado, I'm extremely grateful that he ran for president, because I think he was the only American out of 330 million people who could have beaten Donald Trump. And I think it would have been catastrophic for our country if Donald Trump had been reelected president. And I think if Joe Biden decides that he's up to it and decides that he's going to run again, I think he'd beat Donald Trump again, and we need to.
If he asked you whether he should run again, what would you tell him?
I'd tell him it's up to him.